The smartest marketers from all walks of life, in every industry, talking about the latest trends, opportunities, and challenges. Insights from marketing executives at organizations like National Geographic, IBM, and the Baltimore Ravens. And tips from business authors and experts known around the world. Ways to improve your community's marketing, starting now, right here on the Marketing Smarts Podcast.
That's right, except for it is the Marketing Smarts live show. Thanks, Chris Brogan, for always sounding amazing. And let's go ahead and get in today's show because I think you're going to find that it is absolutely fascinating. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by Marketing Profs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, well, grab a beverage or a notepad, or at least some type of style writing utensil. Welcome to the show. It's time to let go of your egos. I could just maybe pause there for a second, but I'm not going to. It's time to let go of your egos, marketers, because this is not about you. That's a common thing to say for sure, but it's particularly important to keep in mind when getting into B2B influencer marketing and communities, which of course is today's conversation. Demandbase's Justin Levy emphasizes the importance of partnerships over transactions and exchange of value over demand, mutually beneficial activities. Too many people will look at simply the reach of an influencer, the total number of followers, or the engagement they have, or the fact that they're a keynote speaker, whatever, and all they want to do is pay them. Justin says they don't consider what those areas of expertise are for that person, the brands they align themselves with, and why, therefore, it's not authentic for the influencer or for the brand. That and more in this week's Marketing Smarts live show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 46 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about powering up your B2B marketing efforts with influencer marketing and private communities. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and get ready to rock and roll. I don't know. I'm full of sound effects today, people. I don't know what's going on. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and the host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Justin Levy. Justin Levy is the head of influencer marketing and community at Demandbase. He has 15 plus years of expertise in corporate social media, influencer marketing, content creation, and community building for major companies such as ServiceNow and Citrix. Justin is the author of Facebook Marketing, Designing Your Next Marketing Campaign, and he frequently speaks on the topics of influencer marketing, private communities, and social media. He has been interviewed or quoted by reputable sources such as Fox Business, Associated Press, Inc. magazine, and the Boston Globe, and he was named one of the top 25 top B2B marketing influencers to follow in 2023. Now, remember, the clips of Justin Levy today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Justin Levy and myself, make sure to tune in to the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. And of course, you can find it on your favorite podcast app. Anyway, now in this episode, again, talking with Justin about powering up your B2B marketing, influencers, communities, marketing, all the things you need to know. This podcast was filled with nuggets of wisdom, so I do suggest you go and listen to the entire episode. However, in today's live session, we got a plan, we got a strategy. I wanted to dive into community, tools, and the conversation that might be most asked: free versus paid community. So that's the items I asked Justin about, and here's what he had to say to get us started.
For networks, I think the two most prevalent and easily top of mind for folks is going to be Slack and Discord. If you're in a B2B, in the B2B industry, you're more than likely on Slack on a daily basis. If you're exploring other communities or your creative type focus, person, maybe you're in creative circles or you are really into certain creative areas personally, you might be in Discord, and so that might be a natural place for you to live. We have seen successful B2B style communities in Discord. Joe Plitzy's The Tilt lives in Discord, and his is probably the most successful I know that's there. And Slack-based communities, they're kind of an endless number right now. On the paid versus free, of course, there is a need for critical mass to have a paid community. So probably the most successful there is Pavilion, which has 3 different levels, associate, executive, and CEO. And of course, the pricing differs per. You also have Peak, which is a browser-based community that runs on Mighty Networks. That's a paid community. The vast majority, though, are going to be free because you want the barrier to entry to be as low as possible.
Are you an influencer marketer? Are you wanting to work with influencers? Are you building a community? More importantly, have you reached critical mass? Are you even part of one of the communities that Justin mentioned? Put the answer to that question, by the way. Are you part of one of the communities that Justin mentioned? Put that answer in the chat pane or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. Now, we'll get back to Justin Levy and his thoughts on powering up your B2B marketing efforts with influencer marketing and private communities. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business and its marketing. This week, it is how to collaborate with local influencers to drive global B2B content marketing success by Adriana Stein. You see what I'm doing? I do it every week. I try to tie these together anyway. Wondering how you can use B2B influencer marketing to drive global and international content marketing success? Of course we are. With the mountain of competition in B2B, establishing trust with potential buyers is no easy feat. Unlike in e-commerce, where transactions are typically swift and purchases are at far lower prices, B2B sales cycles are lengthier and involve much higher stakes. With endless opportunities to choose from, community has become more crucial than ever as people search and check social media, but ultimately rely on trusted peers for advice when making important business decisions. Want to learn more? Well, keep learning more and read the article because the article is pretty good. Check it out. The link will be in the description when the live show is over. So let's get back to Justin Levy and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. Next on the conversation train with Justin was why it is important to think about influencer marketing and private communities. Should B2B marketers really care about the conversation we're having? So I asked the question, and Justin, well, ladies and gentlemen, he had the answer.
With influencer marketing, the most powerful piece of that is to build relationships with thought leaders in the space. You should do that across a wide spectrum. You're not just going to build or try to build relationships with some of the top influencers that would be considered macro influencers, right? They have hundreds of thousands of followers and some of the top most influential voices, folks like Ann Hanley or Jay Bear or some of these individuals that are focused in B2B marketing. You also need very small niche influencers, some of those that are likely to go very deep on one topic. So their network and their area of focus might be, say, field marketing or ABM or event-led growth or something of that nature. So it's important to form those types of relationships so that when you run a program, it's across all of that. You might run a kind of multi-layered program where you need broad awareness and then you need something more tactical. With private communities, you need to develop a community where you have truly one-to-one relationships with the community manager and the community members, but then you're helping them to form together in a community. So, for example, we recently had 2 of our community members go and get together for golf. We never set it up. They found out that they lived within 2 hours of one another, and they mutually invited each other to their respective golf clubs. I only found out about it because they posted a photo in the community. If you look at combining the two, influencer and community, one of the things that we do within Revenue Circle is to bring in thought leaders, these influencers, to do virtual events on areas that are important to either the industry right now or to the community, and we let the community decide that. For example, generative AI. We just did one with Paul Rotzer, and super timely. The community was asking a lot of questions about it ahead of time. Paul and I are friends. I reached out to him, asked him if he could come in and do a 45-minute session for us. Joe Plitzy's coming in and doing a session for us next week on content marketing, the creator economy, where people should be focused. The second layer to that, and this is typically costs some money if a brand wants to invest in it, but is to actually hire influencers to create unique content within that community. So something that's of value that you can only get from that community. So we are working with Jay Bear, and Jay does a question of the week, essentially, where he poses it. And in only the way that Jay can, he gives a bottle of tequila away to the best answer as he decides. So, but it drives engagement with the community. It's on something topical around sales and marketing, whatever's kind of in the news currently. And they like that they have this one-to-one relationship with someone that they can typically only pay a couple $1,000s to see keynote at a conference.
Did you hear what I heard? Are you creating relationships? Are you creating content that can only be found in the community? Are you leveraging your network? Are you, first of all, building a network to be able to leverage that network? And are you leveraging those influencers, whether large or micro, to create an experience for your community? Also, I just want to know if you're also giving away bottles of tequila. I'm just kidding. I'm not asking that. Anyway, we'll get back to Justin Levy and in a few minutes. But first, it is time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of Marketing Profs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is How to Build an Influencer Marketing Strategy by Andrew Cravenho. Today, consumers are bombarded with messages from marketers about how those marketers' products or services are better than those of others and how their offerings will fulfill consumers' needs and expectations better than the offerings of competitors. As they receive competition marketing messages from different brands, consumers become cynical about which brands to trust and to choose and which to ignore. You don't want to be on that list, ladies and gentlemen. So how can marketers make sure that their message is the one to get heard and, more importantly, absorbed? You're going to have to hit that link to find out. Yes, I just left it on a cliffhanger. Anyway, article number 2 this week, 5 B2B influencer marketing guidelines for brands by Alexander Frolov. I hope I said that right, Alexander. Forgive me if I did not, but I think that was right. B2B brands worldwide are embracing influencer marketing as one of the most cost-effective and time-efficient, yet still impactful marketing strategies. Although influencer marketing was once considered a B2C play, B2B brands can also achieve heightened brand awareness and an uptick. That's right, ladies, an uptick. That's all we're really looking for. Brand awareness and an uptick in revenue growth by running influencer marketing campaigns. In fact, 92% of consumers trust influencer marketing over traditional advertising, according to Nielsen's Consumer Trust Index. So how can B2B marketers associate with influencers to deliver a dramatic boost to the credibility and authority of their brand in the eyes of the buyer? This article provides 5 guidelines for planning a B2B influencer marketing campaign. Want to keep learning more? If so, Check the link in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing Marketing Profs articles. All right, back to Justin Levy. Let's dive back into this conversation of powering up your marketing efforts, B2B, of course, around influencer communities, all of those things. By the way, influencer marketing and private communities, if you hadn't guessed today's topic. You know me, I'm all about finding the hurdles that might get in your way, that might get in my way on the topics that we cover. This week is no different. I wanted to ask Justin what mistakes he has seen people make around influencer marketing and building communities. Ladies and gentlemen, you might want to get your notepad ready. Here's what Justin wanted to share with us around hurdles you might face.
On the influencer side, I definitely, as I mentioned, think it's the talking head versus partnership, right? So too many people will look at simply the reach of an influencer, the total number of followers or the engagement they have or the fact that they're a keynote speaker or whatever those things are that they care about. And all they want to do is pay them. And they don't consider what those areas of expertise are for that person, maybe the brands that they align themselves with or why. So therefore, it's not authentic for that influencer or for that brand, right? So you might have a misalignment of values. You might be asking them to create content that's not natural for them. So that's mistake number one for a brand when they're working with influencers, is not having that co-created value where it benefits both the brand and the influencer. On the private community side, probably the thing that drives me crazy is brands that want to build this third-party community, essentially, right? It's not their community. I tend to think about it as powering a community. Demandbase powers Revenue Circle, which means at the end of the day, we pay all the bills, but it's not a demand-based community, right? We're not selling our wares in there. We just provide value and utilize our resources to provide value. Where communities get it wrong, or companies get it wrong, is they build up this community, they utilize it to build trust, and then they violate that trust by doing something wrong, whether it is selling their wares, whether it's utilizing the list that they've built to market towards them, anything of that nature. The way we see Revenue Circle is it's walled off from Demandbase, with the exception of if Demandbase does a study with a third-party vendor that maybe is really interesting. Maybe we come out with a state of advertising report or something of that nature. And those statistics might be helpful to the community. That's one thing. But we're not going to promote that Demandbase came out with this new feature launch within the product, right? That will never go into the community. Too often I see that, though, with other communities.
Man, I hope you were jotting down notes. There's a big difference of letting your marketing and sales be your marketing and sales and your community being your community. There's a big difference in building relationships versus trying to close transactions. There's a big difference in actually helping humans and being human in a community way, and it not just being one big sales and marketing tactic. Empathy, love, community, humans. Anyway, is it too much to believe that this is possible in the world? We're going to get some words of wisdom from Justin Levy here in a few minutes, but right now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time from the hashtag MP B2B community. We search far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to the masses. By the way, that's you. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then, and only then, will we spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Nancy Horhut, marketing creative plus behavioral science author, keynote speaker, consultant. Her post, marketers are facing some unique challenges right now. How are you holding up? If you'd like some fresh ideas, join me and save $100. That's 100 buckaroos, baby, at Marketing Profs B2B Forum online to charge up your skills and your friendships. And there's a link there. Of course, hashtag MPB2B, hashtag persuasion. But you need to check out the description and click that link to check out the post and save money and learn more. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and X, Twitter, X. Anyway, I guess X. All right, let's kick it back to Justin Levy and some words of wisdom around this topic of powering up your B2B marketing efforts with influencer marketing and private communities. Here are the words of wisdom. Again, get the whiteboard out, the notepad, because I think it's three major things. Words of wisdom. Justin Levy, you want to be ready for this one.
There's probably three. One is and this was something that Chris Brogan imparted on me almost 15 years ago, because we've both been at it for a while now and spent a lot of time together when we ran an agency together. He always told me to be a connector. And you mentioned this earlier, but to always use your platform and your relationships to connect other people together, and that it's never about you. So I get my joy and I feel successful off being able to utilize my relationships to connect them with others in influencer marketing and saying community that they may not have, like I said, unless they go and spend a couple $1,000s at Content Marketing World to get connected with folks that are taking the main stage, for example, or connecting in this job market, unfortunately, connecting to people that I know are hiring and are looking for a job. We had that happen in Revenue Circle recently. A CMO hired someone to be their VP. So I think being a connector. Something I've also learned throughout my career, and it applies to a lot of things, but is to always be 2 steps ahead. One of the areas, and this is more internally that I try to do this, but also externally, is to try to stay 2 steps ahead of whatever's happening around me. And so internally, I use that to try to stay 2 steps ahead of, say, my manager, so that when they ask for something, I've already had it done, because you don't know the time frame or reasoning behind why they are asking for it. Say my VP might ask for a report. I want to have that done before he ever thinks he needs it, because he potentially is being asked by my CMO for something. So if I can have it to him immediately and he can make his tweak or two and send it to our CMO, that makes him look more prepared and better, and like he's leading his team or her team better. Externally, if you can stay 2 steps ahead, you're staying 2 steps ahead of your competition, or the other communities in your space, or the people that are trying to work with fellow influencers. And hopefully you're being more creative and you're taking what you've learned from other campaigns or other things you've noticed, and you're trying to implement that. I think the last is to always measure your efforts. You have to measure what you do, and then you have to learn from them. Too often, I think, in marketing as a whole, we just measure everything, and we say that we're data driven, and we don't let the data actually drive us. So in influencer marketing, say with a paid program, I measure something called CPE, and it's cost per engagement. And it's the only way that I know how to level set all of the folks that I work with, because it provides an equal benchmark between the person that's charging X sum of money and gets X engagements, and someone that's maybe charging more or less and gets a certain number of engagements. I shouldn't continue a relationship for the next program if that CPE is different than another, unless there is a very targeted reason. The same with the community. I mentioned the questions of the day. I utilized not only what the community was given for feedback, but what the engagement numbers told me. In that, I continued to put the gas pedal on.
continued to put the gas pedal on. And as far as gas pedals, I hope that you took a metric butt ton of notes. Those were some great words of wisdom from Justin Levy. I'm going to be honest with you. So much good in this episode and the original podcast that we did. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, time flies when you're having fun. Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you are joining us on. Now, it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, head to that description that I've been alluding to down below. Click on the link to the Full Marketing Smarts podcast with Justin Levy and keep on learning more about powering up your B2B marketing efforts with influencer marketing and private communities. Remember, these were just a few, and I mean a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast. We covered a lot of ground on that interview. If you got value from today's show, hit that like and better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit subscribe or watch additional Marketing Prop videos on your favorite social channel or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts live show next week.